Welcome back to Gardens, the Untold Story. Me and Andy were having a heck of a good conversation behind the scenes. We'll have to fill you in on what we were talking about, but this is soil microorganisms because Andy wanted to talk about organisms. So, Andy, what do you want to talk about for organisms, my friend?
Well, I prepared a little bit of a slide. We can put that up there so we can go through it real fast. There you go, right? And
Okay.
so my whole thing has been to help people figure out what to, like you do. Like your thing is to teach people what soil microorganism, in your case, you call it the biology, which is such a
Yep.
cool terminology. It explains it clearly. Something living.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Right.
It's
And I've always
all about the biology.
I've always called it soil microorganisms,
Yeah.
but then people go, what the heck is that? And whereas soil biology, it's so clear. It's so clear what it's about. And people don't equate the two together. They don't equate health of the human body, health of insects, health of plants,
everything
to the soil biology. They don't equate that at all. Yep. And it's kind of weird. It really is very, very strange. I'm going to go ahead. Let me see if I can. I don't know. Can I make it move? No, I'm stuck in this. How do I get it to go to the next one? Because I'm clicking and nothing happening.
Oh, so you're going to have to go back into it.
So, okay, I could probably do that. Let me see.
I see your mouse now. There you go.
Did it work? Oh, okay. Now bring me back again. How do I get back again?
Well, whatever you did to switch screens to get back.
Oh, Daddy, I can't get back again. I want to be seen.
Well, you're being seen, Andy. You're on the. You just keep grinning.
Hi, everybody. So, the one of the keys is nutrition, and nutrition goes through this is the way that the soil recycles. I was going to say nutrition recycle because it's really cool in terms of how the nutrition gets into your body, right? How nutrition ends up in your body, and you'll find that I learned these from experience that there's a really, just like in the human body, there's so much stuff going on in the soil that makes it work, right? It's like billions and billions of creatures, armies, and all different things. They all have different things that they do. It's like kind of mind-blowing, in terms of what the heck is going on here with all these creatures. Now, what is it that they're doing?
Well, you can equate it actually to our gut biome, Andy, because it's basically exactly the same. And in reality, a lot of the biology, you could call them cousins for what breaks down our food, and it's the same in the soil.
Yeah, and it's funny because I got into it. See, I got into health really early, health of my body really early. I became a vegetarian when I was like 18. And, I was in the service, 220 pounds, ate whatever, and I got enlightened. I got enlightened. And so I just stopped. I just went to plant food. I went to vegetables. But I also realized I want to eat. I've learned about quality, not quantity.
Okay.
Because I was listening to a doctor just yesterday. It was saying, okay, eggs are good for you, right? But, there are different kinds of eggs. The free-range ones, the cage-free, organic, right? And he said something that really made a lot of sense. The only eggs that are good for you is good quality eggs. Eggs that the chickens have been running around outside eating worms and insects.
Eating biology.
Right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's the only quality. You can have organic eggs. If they're still in a cage, is no good. Because a cage
free range.
Cage free only means they stick their head out the door and they're not really running around the pasture the way they're supposed to be, eating the biology that's there.
Yeah. And giving biology back and regenerating the soil that they're eating from. It's
the whole thing is a complex cycle. It's an incredible cycle that I sort of keyed into almost really fast because I relate to a good farmer. A good organic farmer's got everything there.
Yep.
You can't have a farm without animals. So imagine having a farm. I know this lady in Malibu, she calls it something farm. I'm not going to give the name. I says, first of all, she doesn't believe in compost or having animals. I go, well, this is not a farm.
Yeah.
This is not, you can't be sustainable if you can't even grow your own food. If you try to grow your own food, thank you. Sometimes you don't need that. I just put the things up there because I'm trying to be really, really cool and show the things,
Hey, and we even figured out how to move it from screen to screen. I think you got some more slides. Do you want to get into the nitrogen cycle or the nutrient cycle, or do you want to?
Let me see if I can figure out how to do it again. Oh,
I've got it up, but in order to change it to the next slide, you'll have to reverse your steps, get back onto that screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, I got the wrong screen. Okay, hang on. Let's see.
I can read it if you want.
It's probably this screen.
Yeah, there you are.
Oh, you can actually read the whole thing? You can go through it yourself?
I can't do it. It's got to be done on your end. All I can do is bring it up, so it's on the screen with us. But you have, and then you see, guys. The problem Andy's having is he can't see himself when he's in presenter mode. So he's switching screens back and forth so he can see me and the slide on the screen. Because he doesn't like talking to just a piece of paper.
You can't touch my screen,
no.
can you? Well, damn it, man! What's going on here?
You have to work yourself, man. Sorry. See, if you had sent me the presentation, then I could be doing it on my end.
Yeah, but that's PowerPoint. You don't do PowerPoint, do you?
I do PowerPoint.
You do PowerPoint? Because I use PowerPoint.
I'm old school. I still do email, okay?
I also do the Chat GPT, all those things, but PowerPoint is my favorite, my go-to one, because I like to turn this is a video which I turned into a slide. Because I didn't. Yeah. I have a podcast, by the way, guys. My podcast is usually a video, and I have this. I use Zoom, so it allows me to do the video and have a little me on the side talking and showing the video. One of the things about nitrogen fixation is that, so when I started doing my business, and I still do it now, people just a few days ago, they said, well, why are you fertilizing with? I said, well, I don't use fertilizer. I use microbes. Well, hell, how do they get the nitrogen? I go, well, they make it themselves. The plants make it themselves. Everybody makes it themselves. And you don't really need to add any nitrogen to it. If you do it right, which is what I do it right because in my garage I make a liquid which is called super seaweed. That's what I've been selling. I sell it on my website, but that's what I sell to my customers. And the super seaweed is really a microbe. It's a primordial soup. I call it primordial soup because I try to imitate nature in the way it was in the beginning, where the microbes and the minerals got together and had a party, and then things happened from there, right?
And they made compounds. They had sex and made compounds, Andy.
Isn't that something?
Compounds our plants need.
Isn't that something? And there's so many different type of specified microbes in there. They do specific things. That's what they do. It's really cool. You can make a list of them. Leighton told me there's so many different microbes you can never name them all and figure out what they're all going to be doing.
I think the estimates, they understand about 25% of the biology. They don't understand what it does, but they've been able to identify it. But even Dr. Elaine Ingham, and we had her on the Soil Matters here a couple of weeks ago, she says there's no way, don't worry about what's there, just worry about what they do. So if they're a solubilizer, then that's good. If it's a root feeding nematode, that's bad. You want to change things up. And how are you doing, or what are you using? Mainly bacteria in your formulation? Or tell us a little bit more about your formulation, Andy.
Oh, no, I have enzymes in it. I have 30 or 40 different types of sources of microbes. There are many different sources you can buy on the market now. They have different microbes in them. I have endo and ectomycorrhizae. I have the way Mother Nature does, it's a mess. It's like complex mess of everything in there. You have no idea. Oh, it's like for cooking. So if you cook something, you add something, that doesn't work with that, right? You know what I mean? But if you cook something, it works. So that's for me.
And you can go with your nose. You can go with your nose, and if it goes bad, your nose is going to tell you that that's bad.
Exactly. I smell my mixture regularly. I go, oh, that's okay. You know, that's fine. I also do other types of liquids, which I then blend together. So I make a liquid from rice, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. A microbial liquid from rice.
Yeah, and you do it a little bit different than the guys in the KNF, because we wash the rice and then we use the rice, right? You take the water and you combine that with to make the lactic acid bacteria, but you're doing it a little bit differently, Andy. So please explain
how am I doing it different? What am I? You saying I'm different? I'm not different.
Oh, I know you're different.
No. So what is it that I'm doing that's different? I mean, I don't know. Tell me what you see.
Keep the rice. If I remember right from when you were on with Avon Layton, you were saying you keep the rice in the mixture, and that would be different.
I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No. I actually have organic rice. I may have said I keep it and I cook it and eat with it.
Okay, well, that's what I do.
I don't throw it away. It's perfectly good rice, you know. I've learned that different kinds of rice are better for this mixture than other types of rice, you know. I get the jasmine white rice, very, very good for that. The brown rice doesn't seem to work as well, but it does work. They all have very different, it takes a lot. I make a mixture and I add I distilled water to it. I have a filtration system. I have those big jars and I let it sit for about 10, 15 minutes, stir it all up, maybe play some of my music to it, and I pour it out into another container. That rice I use, and in that container I add a cup of organic milk.
Okay, see, and that's where in the Korean natural farming, what we would do is we would take that water and we would set it out so that the air got to it, and when you started to see a film, that's the biology starting to inhabit it, and it generally takes 3, 5, 7 days depending on temperature. You would suck that middle liquid off, and that's what you'd be adding, right?
No, so I use the whole
one
thing.
cup of liquid to one gallon, or I think it's 1 to 10.
I do the whole thing, and way it works way it's turned out for me is that when I add the milk to it, the milk separates. And I take the top off, and that liquid is what I use.
You get farmer's cheese on top. You can actually make cheese out of that. It's good.
And that liquid is what I use. And I have just a basic cloth that goes over, so you still get air circulation through it. And I haven't really tried putting it outdoors or anything like that. Yeah. I haven't gotten quite to that space yet. But that's where you will get the biology coming in from outdoors,
Yeah, put it by a window, just an open window with a breeze going across it, and you'll collect more microbes.
Right. So I use that's one of the sources of microbes. But I basically in my mixture, I get 14 different types of rock dust from 20 different. Yes, right. Lactobacillus.
Bacillus, lactic acid bacteria.
I learned to not to mix that together with my other mixtures, that they conflict with each other. So I either spray one or the other. I don't spray them both.
That's interesting. Together. Okay, you're saying your other mixture, the biology they're battling?
Yeah, they don't seem to like each other, because what happens, I find that if my first few times I use it in my sprayer, the sprayer gooped up on me. Literally, it gummed up on me.
Okay, yeah.
And the
you got a lot of milk. You maybe didn't get enough milk solid out. Maybe you didn't. That could be a problem depending on the orifice size of your sprayer.
And also, too, when I used to add Dr. Bronner's soap to it. It's a natural soap.
Yeah.
As a wetting agent, it would gum. The water became really gummy. It was like I had to clean it out because the machine would not pump that stuff out. The whole liquid changed. Whereas if I just did my super seaweed by itself, or the other liquid by itself, it didn't do that. And I'm going, I don't know why the two are. Maybe they react to each other. See, my mixture is such a blend of my biology and I originally, when I left from Florida here, I brought with me, it's like making yogurt. You take a little bit of what you have before and make some more. So it's a continuation of this particular. So in my process of learning, because I started doing my services a long time ago, and I was trying to learn what to spray, what kind of things I could be spraying, what things I can mix together, So I learned I want to have a highly rich, biologically rich, and minerally rich mixture.
Well, you need both, right?
Right. And I want the bacteria, the microbes, to go at the rock dust first. I want it to go through that process of digesting and converting it. Liquid changes. If I leave it alone, it'll start foaming on the top, and it'll be a big scummy thing. It'll start overflowing over the top, and then you start smelling, and you go, well, people say, who died? Right?
Yeah. Remember, your nose will tell you if it's going bad.
They'll say who died. Right. And I go, right? Oops, I know who died. They all died. So I've been doing this for a long time, but and I'm happy to go over some of the different products that I buy. Because I've been buying products, and there's some of them are really, really amazing products. I don't know if I mentioned Nitron 835 here before.
I don't remember Nitron 835.
I know Nitron 835. I was giving a talk in Fayetteville, Arkansas, an organic conference, and the Fayetteville people, it's called Nitron. That's the name of the company, Nitron, and they make this product called Nitron 835. It's enzymes.
Cool.
It's a specific type of enzyme that's really, really amazing product. It breaks the minerals up as well, doesn't conflict with the biology. And then I use another product called AgriGrow. The AgriGrow is basically another enzyme, and to which they have boron, B-O-O-R-O-N. Boron is one of the exotic trace metals that the body needs, but the soil needs as well, and it needs it in the right amount. It's called boron.
Well, yes, and I know I had a round of tomato plants that were boron deficient, and we used it's a normal household product is borax bleach. Yeah, borax.
Right.
Yeah, as long as you dilute it the proper amounts, and you don't need very much of it, right, in a gallon of water, it's the exact same thing.
So I can buy. I have a bottle in the garage. It's called boric acid.
Yeah.
And boric acid, I used to do ant treatments. I used to add boric acid to honey and give it to the ants. Hey, you want some of this candy?
You're mean.
I would say, give this to your queen. I say, give this to your queen. Ha ha ha. And they would take it back to the queen. It would kill the whole thing. But then that was in my early use. Because I was going after the ants, but then I realized that the soil controls the ants. It's not the ants' fault.
You got healthy soil, you got no ant problem.
It's not the ants' fault, it's the soil problem. So I said, now what I do, the way I control ants is by increasing the biology of the soil. You see, and that controls the ants. It controls everything. Like I was saying before, diseases and pests are all related to the health of the soil.
Yeah.
And there isn't a day going by in my business. People stop me and they say, okay, I have this problem. What should I spray? What is
biology? Spray biology.
And that's what I do. So today I was at a place that I've been there for 20 years now. And I'm not a certified arborist. So this lady has a certified arborist come around a lot, and what they told her is, I don't know what he's doing, but let him do it because it's absolutely amazing. I have no idea what he's doing. Okay, no idea what he's doing. And people, by now, the certified arborists in Malibu know me. I say, hey, look, I'm your buddy. I'm not your enemy. And they said, look, legally, we cannot do it this way. Legally, we have these chemicals we have to use. We have a list of chemicals. Those are the ones we have to use. That's it. You know why they're certified? It's all about insurance. So Cher, Cher, who do you believe? That lady Cher So she calls me up every once in a while. She's called me, and so I went to her home in Malibu. She has all these palms. These palms are like $500,000 a palm. Okay, so she lost like 10 of them. And she said, I'm really, every once in a while, I've known her for years, she does the same thing. I'm really tired of them dying. I want you to take care of them for me. And I don't care what the certified arborist says, right? Yeah. And so I went there, and what I sprayed was the biology.
Yeah.
The palms were healthy.
The biology, the tree fixes itself.
Right. The biggest problem I had is I told the gardeners, you really got to scrape the soil and get rid of all this fertilizers, those tiny purple balls that they would be there. That's not right. You know, a worm will not survive in that at all. And I had to get them clean it up. Today I was at this place, and these guys, it's an oak tree, and they have the fungus, and it was dying. And so I started taking care of it. And what I do was a combination of things. One of the things that I learned that my seaweed, my super seaweed does, you can actually pour it. I make a tree vent. The tree vent is a clay drain pipe. Oh, you're not moving anymore. Yes, you are. There you go. You were still like.
Yes. Well, I was actually trying to look up that nitrogen product, but it's not giving me anything.
NITRON.
I know. I typed that in, and I got a bunch of other people selling it. I didn't get the actual website, so.
I think it's nitron.com.
Yeah, I'll try again. That's what I'm sorry. I was looking off. I was actually listening to
I thought you had stalled. You were stuck there, you know.
And that actually happened yesterday on a show. I glitched out my computer, and so I just froze, and I froze about like in this attitude. And my guest jumped off. I jumped back on as soon as my computer rebooted,
and your guest was gone.
And my guest was gone. It was like, and so I ended the broadcast. And then while I was still on, getting ready to shut down, the guest came back on. It was like, well, I can't restart the show. But anyway, sorry. So it's nitron.com.
I think it's nitron.com, right? Nitron.com. See if you can pull it up. So I was at this house today, and I went there because the oak tree has this. My philosophy is I don't need to know the name of the disease. Yeah. I don't need to know the name at all of the disease. I don't even care the name of the plant. I don't care any of that stuff. All I know is this will work on any of those things. And so the oak tree was dying about 10 years ago. And what they did was they would constantly be injecting into it. They inject into it, whatever that chemical is, right, to control the disease. And the disease is usually spread by a pest. You know, usually some bug will spread it. And so, and then the guy, and so they still have the arborist. And the arborist keeps telling, if the tree dies, your insurance won't cover it because you're not letting me do everything humanly possible. And this guy's voodoo. Voodoo does not count. It doesn't count.
What? Yeah. Voodoo doesn't count? Voodoo doesn't count. Come on.
But if you let me inject the chemicals and it dies, you can say I did everything possible. Yeah. You'll get the value of that tree back. Like Cher, she got 5. So what happened with Cher was the arborist said, look, there's something wrong here. Any moment now, these palms are going to die because I'm not able to inject it. This is going on for 3 or 4 years, okay? Any moment they're going to die and you're going to lose all your money. She finally said, oh, okay. Andy, I said, I know. Your arborist says you got to, I said, fine. A year, 6 months later, 6 months.
Trees are all dead.
2 trees. She got her money for it. So you could say, see, we got it just in time. And now you can get your money. Yeah. And I was telling you, no, that cost it to happen. You went through 3 years, no problem. It could have gone for another 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It would not have happened. As soon as you started killing the biology again, bam, the disease is there waiting for its opportunity to take over.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I have it in one of my little charts here. that basically
Okay,
says
so let's
that.
switch, bring that back up. Disease suppression.
There you go. So that's exactly what it does. It suppresses. I told you last show that disease is there, just like in the human body. The disease is there. Something is stopping it from taking over. The disease is, well, I'm not going out there. I'm not going to deal with this, right? But if the control is not there, the disease goes bingo. It's the same thing with a pest. That oak tree gets attacked by a pest. That pest knows that the oak tree is efficient and is food for his babies. That's what, and the fungus is basically taking advantage. The fungus cannot eat certain types of food, just like us. If it can eat it, if it starts growing on the tree, that means that something's wrong. And so I've been feeding these trees, and the basic problem I'm having now is basically the gardeners and the people themselves. And I was talking to them again just last week, and they said, why do you have to keep coming every month and doing your microbes thing? I said, well, I was trying to talk like John Wayne. Well, you know, well, you know, and I said, it'd be one thing if you was in a forest, if you was in a place where you were totally natural and everything was recycled, you wouldn't have any problem. You wouldn't have me. But for starters, the city water kills the microbes. You're constantly killing the microbe and whatever else you're doing to the soil, right?
Yeah.
You're going to go and buy a plant that's been chemically grown and put it in the ground, and that chemical is just going to spread out. You know, it's in the container, right? The container is full of these chemicals. You keep polluting the soil. Your next door neighbor is constantly spraying this and spraying that. So so the soil, the microbes are constantly being attacked and killed. So that's why I have to come by on a regular basis and keep putting them in.
Yeah.
You see?
If you stop killing them, I won't have to come so often.
And this place has been going for 20 years, close to 20 years. I have some customers now that are like 30 years. One lady since 84. And what happens is that once they get into their heads, I am not going to do anything to damage the microbes. And I said, and the lady even got a whole property filtration system so the city water is clean, you know. Mm-hmm. And then she said, well, I guess I don't need you anymore. I said, you're welcome to stop anytime you want to. But the problem is that they went on buy both. It's just like, okay, we're going to buy compost from the store.
Whoops.
You know what happened, right? It's like, right. And so they started getting organic fertilizers, which are crap. And some of them was just absolutely nothing in there, crap. Then they said, well, I really know everything. I'm going to get this fertilizer is organic. I go, well, the word natural doesn't mean organic. Okay, the word natural is it's just look at the label, look at the ingredients, what they actually have in ingredients. It has urea in it.
Yeah. And
I'm going, so and now you're calling me back because the tree has this problem.
Go figure.
And you know, I really what I want to do is tell the people, look, you have to sign this contract for life because I'm tired of going away. Okay, I don't need you anymore. I need to call me. Oh my God. And I'm supposed to bring it back again. Gone, bring it back again. So it's like, and so I it's the money that keeps me going with those people. I say, fine, it's going to cost you more money to fix this, and you're going to have to understand. I have several other people who say, well, everything's fine now. When it gets to be beautiful, they say it's fine.
Yeah.
So when you're healthy, do you stop eating? You say, I'm good?
Sure. I'm going to be a breatharian next. Yeah,
you say, I'm good. I don't have to do anything anymore. I don't have to eat. I don't have to do anything. No. Destruction is a force of nature. Mm-hmm. So the soil biology will constantly be destroyed by one thing or another, specifically human beings. Remember I told you about I wrote this article, 10 ways to kill all trees. You remember that?
No, I never read it.
Oh, well, I don't know if I told you about it. I'm having deja vu. I don't know. But basically,
you meant to. Or you dreamed it. You dreamed that you told it to me, you know, but I wasn't channeling that day, so I never got it.
Did you get my book?
No.
I'm not talking to you anymore. You're supposed to have gotten my book by now.
The thing is,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
don't have time to read.
Okay, fine. Well, there's a chapter in there. 10 ways.
I listen to your music every time I meditate now, though.
Thank you. There's a chapter in there on how to kill all trees. 10 ways to kill all trees. A little small print. 10 ways, 10 things not to do. In little small print. And because we're very good at destroying things. The car we drive, the carbon monoxide is wonderful stuff. All kinds of things that I was talking to a guy today who thinks that nicotine is fine. Tobacco smoking is fine. And there's lots of food that we eat are basically toxic. Lots of food. Plastic.
Lots of them? I'd say 90% of them.
Plastic is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Microbes do not eat plastics. Right?
Well, actually, there is microbes now.
Okay, they do, but I'm talking about soil microbes, not these microbes that you can get that'll eat any radiation. Or you're not going to find them in the soil, are you?
Actually, they're starting to proliferate because there's so much of the compound that they need to break down.
Well, maybe that might be a good thing. Maybe that would be a good thing.
I'd say it is. Yeah.
But what will happen? You'll wake up one day, you'll find them chewing on your leg.
That wouldn't surprise me at all, but like Mother Nature is a wonderful thing. She creates these quorum sensing, and anything's possible in the biological world. They'll make it if it's a biology that doesn't exist yet. That's part of the mycelium network.
I'm here. I think I'm here. I was just trying to go on to the next thing. I think.
The next slide. Whoa. Hold on. Let me bring it up. Soil structure improvement.
Okay. See, so I just kind of wanted to go through all these things, and we can just talk around them, And the soil structure is key to everything because microbes live like a condominium, like a whole high riser. They have different levels. It's not different same microbes all mixed in. Microbes have different levels. Yes or no?
Well, yes, of course. You've got your oxygen-loving microbes. Then you got the water microbes. You've got the air microbes. You've got the deeper soil microbes that don't live in the oxygen environment. And then you've got the transitional microbes that move back and forth. And some can be in all four states. Liquid, oxygen, oxygenated soil, and anaerobic soil.
And it's like a city that's been really laid out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
These things function this way. This thing function this way. And I keep telling people, you know what happens when you rototill the soil? It's like you're just turning everything, destroying the whole soil structure that's been laid down by Mother Nature for you.
I like to put it this way to people, Andy. It's like if the aliens came and shook our planet and then just dropped us, okay? Because that's that clump of really nice soil that was put together by the biology, and you just broke it up and threw it down on the ground. That's the aliens coming shaking our planet. It takes a long time for them to come back and fix that.
Yeah. I say the same thing about the aliens, a little different. I say, if the aliens came in a big giant spaceship to take all humans off the planet, it would take thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years for Earth to clean up. That's how bad a job we have done. Okay? I mean, the microbes may do it really fast. They may spread faster than I think, but I think they'll take their time. They just go through the whole thing. The air will get clean. The water will get clean. Time is relative, really, so thousands and thousands of years is nothing. And that's how I think it works. That's how normally it works. And the soil structure, but people's properties do not have any soil structure to them. They have totally
not anymore.
No soil alone. And the same thing with growing in containers. And in containers, you normally would have different layers. It's one of the things about learning how to grow in containers. And what's so weird about, and I'm not picking on pot growers, but I do know pot growers over here that they grow in containers. When the plant's done, they throw everything, start all over again.
Yes, that's something I don't agree with, but people are doing it all the time.
And so one of the things that Leighton was trying to tell these guys, and I was trying to tell them too, is that you do not need to throw it away. As a matter of fact, you can pull the plant out, put another one in there again. If you do it right, it'll keep on growing. You're not going to get the salt toxicity. Your root system will grow really, really well because the biology is there, right? You know what I mean? But they don't get that. They just, and the reason why they throw it away is because it's toxic.
It's because of what they're putting into it. They can't put another plant into it because there's no real biology that's in it.
Right. Have you ever seen the way the inside of a container looks like when you take it out?
Not growing chemically because I've never grown chemically.
Right. It's like a white film, and if you test that white film, it's toxic. It's every toxic chemical you can think of, and it's a toxic salt. Comes down to it. Fertilizers or chemical fertilizers is basically a salt. Yeah. You know how when the Romans conquered other countries, you know what they did?
They put silver in their mouths while they were marching. I know that.
Well, they took salt and sprinkled it on their soil.
True. Yeah. I remember that now. Okay. Yeah.
See, so it stopped them from using the soil. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing in the containers. That's what you're doing when you're adding a chemical fertilizer. And nowadays, if you even go to organic fertilizer, you go, what the heck is this stuff? Well, they tilted soil into the field. What does that mean, tilted soil into the field? Oh, they took soil and put them into the field. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying, you think?
The salts.
Oh,
he's
the
talking
salt.
He's talking about the Romans.
Right. Exactly right. Exactly right. And that does a very good job at that. And we're doing it on purpose. Oh, cool. Yeah, you're going to find out that you can just keep growing over. When I was growing, I grew it underneath my property, and I had containers. I didn't take them out. As a matter of fact, I went and bought worms. I put worms in there. If the worms survive and they're doing good, I was feeding the worms. I said, well, just so happens I'm growing some plants in there, but I'm giving the food to the worms. Mm-hmm. And the worms were producing this wonderful plants for me. And it makes a big difference. I know a lot of people. That's one reason why they say, you can't grow indoors as well as you grow outdoors. Well, that makes it different because if you have the biology in the container, and the container too I don't know how those black plastic things work, but I know that I don't like them. I know that I would rather use porcelain and your clay containers. I ended up using clay containers instead of the black, dark plastic ones. Yeah, any kind of plastic, right?
Especially in California. In Alberta, sometimes we want the black plastic because it draws heat. In California, you definitely don't want that.
Well, I've learned from experience, and this is something we can talk about later on in another show, which I can give you as part of one of the things to talk about. Is, I talk a lot about energy and how energy transfers. I got those top and that worms and mushrooms popping on. You got it. And so when the worms and the mushrooms are growing, the biology is there. That's Mother Nature would say, "Hi, everybody, how are we doing?
We made it. We made it. We're here."
And one of the things that makes it work even better is when you allow energy to use energy as Mother Nature has lots of different ways to take energy and use it into the soil. Remember I told you about that cosmic ray that shoots through the earth? Yeah. Well, that's just a small part of how it collects energy, so you can use energy because energy will work on the microbes. And microbes and water are very important. Structured water and microbes go together. Yeah. Okay, they work really well together. So you'll learn that. That's one reason why I did my music is called Inner Garden Music for the Soil, because I've learned that playing music to the soil, to the microbes, to the plant makes a big difference in how they function. It's the energy that gets transferred throughout the plant and in the soil. And there's lots of ways you hold that energy. I can talk to you about that sometime. Remember I mentioned the Hieronymus device.
Yes, I do remember the Hieronymus device.
Right. Yeah. It goes in the ground and it absorbs the energy and the soil around it, everything around it, and it changes. You can actually do a bricks readings on plant. You don't even need to do anything to the soil. It does it all by itself. You don't need to do it. You just stick something in the ground and watch it grow. Okay, now let me step back. You can do a bricks reading on it? Yeah, you can do a brick reading on any plant that's growing in that area.
Okay.
Right?
And you're
So
going to see you're saying you're going to see a difference.
oh yeah, I've learned from
Yeah.
experience. And so one of the things I do with customers is that, and someone will let me, and I don't do it without their permission. I would basically say, I want to plant a couple of crystals on your property.
Yeah.
Just bury them. And I've learned that the crystals can hold certain energy, and then when it's in the ground, the plants and the property and the insects reflect that energy. And so when I do a bricks reading, I do it before I go in there and after. And when I did a bricks reading before I put crystals in, and a month later, the bricks went all up all by itself, and I did nothing to it.
Yeah.
Okay, the bricks, that means that the minerals all lined up. The minerals were there, became available. When the minerals are not in a structured form, they're not available. That's why you have
it's like Clayton talks about the clay platelets, creating that honeycomb, and that's where your minerals, your nutrients, your water gets stored. And if they're laying flat, you've got no cycling happening.
Right. So they have to be, and all of them are affected by energy, and energy can be transmitted and absorbed in many, many different ways.
That's where grounding is so important for us. We have to ground, and looking at the plastic pots, your clay pot is a natural substance, so the energy can flow through it. The plastic pot, the energy can't, so you would actually have to attach a wire.
When I was a long time ago, when I did raised beds,
right?
So I was that was when my youth, when I was really into.
You're still young. You're my youth. You're still a baby.
I made an organ accumulator.
Okay.
It's called an organ accumulator.
Yeah.
William Reich developed an organ accumulator, and he calls that energy organic energy, but it could be named by it. Depends on what religion, what country you're in. Basically are naming.
Here they call it organite, I think, and
they basically are giving a name to that energy. And so I've learned that when I studied with Phil Callahan. He did the pyramid. Basically, it was into pyramid structures, and he would make these pyramids. You sit inside, right? Pyramid you wear, and the pyramid structure is one of the things. That's what the pyramids do. They take energy and they absorb it, send it out, and they're actually like a battery that charges everything up.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're all over the world.
Yeah. So these structures are big time. These people know that these things and the type of mineral that they use are naturally going to absorb this energy and give it out. And what's cool about the Earth has these ley lines.
Yeah.
And ley lines how the energy flows.
Yeah.
Right? Just like the meridian in your body. So you can look at a ley line on the property and like a miniature Earth, a little miniature thing going on there, where the energy is flowing and coming to. One of the things that happens that's bad is because the electricity disrupts that. The electricity and the transformers and all these things that we do have negative effect on the property, and they disrupt the structure of the energy.
Yeah, they create vortexes.
Right. So when I was a kid, I would make a really cool grounding device, and I would use a copper. So when I studied the organ with Rex and the organ accumulator, they use organic and inorganic layers. Organic and inorganic layers, and that attracts the energy and absorbs it. Okay, the inorganic energy attracts and the organic absorbs it. Right, and interesting enough, we have a miniature ley lines in our bodies, right? The meridians in our body, and the way the energy flows. But they all are connected. They all are connected. And so, what I would do is I would make a miniature organ accumulator, Hieronymus device. I put the two together. I said Hieronymus device, organ accumulator. Why not this sort of right? And so I would make a rod, and the rod had copper, which I would wind up. And the rod was like a silver rod, really easy to get a hold of. And I would wrap it around with a gold plate on the top, and pound it into my raised bed. And I had some with and some without. And the ones with, the plants grew better, and the bugs didn't touch it. The bugs would not come near it. They would say no because they interfered with their little. Remember about the TV that the bugs have that they tune into stuff. They would say no, I can't. No readings. I don't get anything here, so I'm going to move on to something else. And interesting enough, butterflies, birds would sit on it. Creatures would start walking around. And then I learned that if I played the music, guess what absorbs? Because the music will go right to, because it shoots out in a wave, right? Music goes out in a wave, right?
Yeah.
But when it goes to this rod, the rod gives off this vibration, this frequency, and the rod takes it right back into the soil, into the earth. And
well, it's like a tuning fork. You put two tuning forks side by side, and the resonant frequency and vibration raises up. So the more you're playing your music, you're resonating and putting the positive intent into that energetic device.
So I have maybe 50 different tuning forks.
Sweet.
So that I'm happy to go through because I use the tuning fork. One of the things that I was doing with these rods is I would bing.
Yeah.
Depends on the frequency. The rod will also vibrate to that frequency as well, resonate as well. And not only did but you can tell the plants were resonating too. For me, when I see auras, but I also see plants auras and insects auras and stuff like that. The energy is not so much the aura, is the energy that's given off, right? Yeah. The frequency that's given off. The frequency can be in different colors, in different waves, but you can see the same frequency manifest in other plants. And I go, this tuning fork is doing this, and that plant over there, not that far away, is also doing its thing. And the bugs will come around to the tuning fork. They were like flying around it. You can hear the little voices going. So there are lots of devices that you can do that will absorb it. Yeah. And so I do one of the things I do is called energy recyclers. Okay. So I not only make the gem elixirs, but I also work with energy, and I work with different making instruments out of natural product, natural things that take that energy in and recycle it. Where does it go? Into the earth, and takes it out of the earth and takes what the earth gives back and puts it out. So if you can take an energy, so it's basically the same as a Hieronymus device, because anything that you put it, so the Hieronymus device, the way it works is that, okay, you have the device and it's made layers, just like the organ accumulator. That's a little box in the center. Anything you put in that box would get radiated out to that property, right? I started listening to Dr. Machosa because Andy mentioned, oh yeah, I'm sorry about that guy. I really am sorry.
Go for the deep dive. Yeah, going for the deep dive.
And so you can use it to radiate minerals. You can use it to radiate health. You can use it to radiate the music itself. So I've learned if I play the certain song, like the thank you song is really a very cool song. It's way ahead of its time because it uses holographic energy, and everything's a holograph. So it works very interesting, and it will radiate as you move while you're listening to it. So if you're playing one place and you have anything that's connected to the earth, because you technically you should be able to stand there naked, not naked, but no shoes, no feet, the soil. Yeah. And you should be able to connect to the soil and radiate in and out with whatever the radiation is that you're giving in or that you're taking out. You can do that. You can do that. And so my whole thing is to I really work on energy. Okay, so when I spray, can we when you think of it, I know energy freaking vibration in our gardens. It's really it's good that it blows your mind, brother, because your mind doesn't get it. Your mind is different than your consciousness. Okay, your mind is going, what WTF? Magnification, vibration, energy. Exactly right. So your mind is one of those things that wants to know physics. It says there's speed of light. That's it. That's as fast as you can go. Right? Whatever. But
until you turn the lights on in your car.
There's another part of you that understands. So like, remember I talked about the drop of the ocean, and then there's a difference between a drop in the ocean. Well, our little mind is the drop.
And some are bigger drops and some are smaller drops.
And that drop will never understand the ocean. But it is part of the ocean, because the ocean is a different energy. All of nature is really all energy. It's all energies. And for me, when I say mind blowing, my mind blew a long time ago. I blew the fuse away and it was gone. My mind is not a normal mind because it doesn't function that way anymore. I see everything in the form as a form of energy. And when I spray, and I was telling the lady that works with me, what is it you think that we're spraying? She said, "Oh, we're spraying this liquid in the microbes." I go, "That's just a cover up. That's just something what we're spraying is pure energy. We're spraying pure energy, and the way you get the pure energy, your brain, your non-brain, the physical part, the thing that's non-physical about you, right? Because you have physical and you have non-physical, right? The non-physical is pumping this thing into the water, because the water is basically a structured water. When I put that in there, I structure that water, and I say, okay, today we're going to send out ruby energy. I like ruby energy, emerald. All these things are really easy to put it right into that water. And the microbes love it too. And microbes love all this stuff. And so
they love energy.
When you're spraying, I said you have to visualize the energy going, a magic wand. Sippity doo da, sippity doo da, sippity doo da. They put it together. Yes, exactly right. And what do you got? Right? And that's exactly what I do. Okay, that's exactly the energy of what I do. But if I was to tell people, hey, you're paying me a lot of money, and all you're doing, paying me to send my vibes out to your property, they're gonna go, hey, okay, bye, have a nice day.
The thing is, you are missing that one step of you actually are adding the biology. And as you said, the biology really loves and works within that energy.
Right.
You need the energy and the biology.
Right. I would not go out by myself and just stand there in the field. Because I could do that. You can stand in the field and you can just start radiating the energy out. You could do that. But other human beings are very contrary to it. They don't like that energy field coming into their presence. Unconsciously, they don't like that. They put out a separate negative energy field. We have the electricity. We have all these things that put out separate negative energies. As soon as I leave, the energy field is going to go right back to whatever state it was before. So the microbes tend to keep that energy there. When the microbes are alive, they bring the energy with them.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So, and I've learned that the microbes really need that energy to function. So if you have a sterile environment, sterile living energy, the microbes go, fuck this shit. I'm out of here, man. This is not, we can't function like this, because they need they need that energy. It's the same thing with mycorrhiza. And when mushrooms are growing, mushrooms are saying, this is all energy, man. You eat me and let's see what happens. And I'm not just talking about the psilocybin mushrooms, even though that's pretty cool. I'm talking about any mushrooms that you eat. They all have a unique consciousness with them and a unique energy that they produce. Yeah, and they basically are singing. They sing a song. Trees to sing. And when they sing, they produce a frequency. They produce an energy that you get, that you hear, that you notice. Intent is everything. Exactly right. And that's the key to it too. And I like these folks because they understand what we're talking about. See, because if you do not have the intent, there's nothing's going to happen. You're not going to be able to do anything. You're not able to heal yourself. You're not going to be able to heal others or other things. Or I even tell the microbes, hey, I want you guys to go on this property. I want you to be their army. I know it's sterile, but we can do this, guys. We can do this. It's the intent. The microbes have the intent to. We're going to go out tippity-doo-dah, go out there and and do the thing. Right, exactly right. And it's like, and then it has a consciousness. It has a living consciousness. It's alive. It produces a frequency. It produces an energy, and we either tune into it or not. I think we have one more thing in this. One
more slide.
I think so. Maybe not. Let me see. Because I tend to ramble on when I do slides as well. I was told just to do one slide at a time. Yeah, there you go. See?
You are what you eat. Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I'm trying to get across to people. Almost all my life is that what you put in is what you get out of it. You know, and it has to do not only with what you eat, because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't eat, we're not gonna the right things. We're not gonna survive.
Mm-hmm.
And the people need to understand that it can only come from one place that you can eat it. You can't go out and physically manufacture things that have nothing to do with the earth and eat it.
Yeah.
Find
Yeah.
something, right? Find something that you can create. I mean, the astronauts when they go out in space, they're eating this plastic stuff, little thing. They realize that, well, maybe we didn't need to have a garden up here.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be going soilless, but they're still going to have microbes in that water. No?
Well, they have to have biology, because without biology, your plant can't actually be created, because no cell is created without biology. So they're going to have some.
So when I was doing my growing, and I would do clones.
Yeah.
That's what I used. That's what I sprayed on the root systems to make them grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the biology, because I would make this the same thing that I spray other people's property, because that's what originally was I made super seaweed for, was to grow my marijuana plants. Right, I started in 1970 growing them. And I wanted to be super healthy, and I wanted to be holy. Right, it was my holy herb. And so I would put them in a little. Take a cutting. So I made a container of it, and I made a little thing that would spin around and mist them on a regular basis. It would be my stuff that they would be misting.
Right. Yeah.
And the root systems would grow 10 times bigger than the other anybody else growing.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing how it all works so beautifully together when you add the energy and the biology, the intent. Geez, wonderful things seem to happen. I don't know why.
So to stop now talking, because I have 4 more minutes. What I want to do is I want to have a commercial.
Commercial.
Okay. I really want to tell people, I have my own podcast too. I would love it if you guys come to check out my podcast, check out my website, invisiblegardener.com. Sign up for the newsletter, because the newsletter talk about all these things as well. My whole thing is to help people deal with diseases and pests in a very different way.
Yeah. In a natural way.
I teach long-term and short-term solutions. Guess what the long-term solution is?
I think probably biology.
Exactly right. The short-term is, okay, what can I spray that doesn't hurt the biology that would temporarily help? And remember, I talked about some simple things you can use. Cold brewed coffee. You do not have to use chemical. Milk works really good. Milk is calcium. Of course, all this is organic, because you want it to be clean. You want it to have all the minerals in it, right? Garlic. Yeah. Garlic is an amazing product. Those are 3 tools right there. But you know what really controls pests and diseases is the biology. You spray the biology on them. See, right? So it's all intertwined. I love it if you guys would check out my website. I want to sell 1 million copies of my books. I want to hang out on a tropical island and do this show from there. So the waves in the background, and
okay, so yeah, and like maybe we got to start marketing your SoundCloud too, and your art. You've got some wonderful art. You've got this program that makes the art move with the music. It's a beautiful thing, guys. You got to really check it out. That's on YouTube. That's on your YouTube, right?
It's called Cosmic Spaceship. I have a show called Cosmic Spaceship. That's me surfing the waves there. And so I play the music, and I do my artwork in the background. That's how I started doing artwork. When I did my radio show, I would do artwork to it too. And people say, "Where is that?" I created that. I'm actually a digital artist. I create digitally, but lately I started doing liquid art, which is mind blowing. The liquid art reacts to the vibrations. I can play music to it, and the damn thing does it all by itself. Okay, I want to get a plate where I can plug it in and then have them come through it. And as a matter of fact, one of these shows I want to show you a plate that I created that allows to transfer energy from one plant or product or gem or something to another one.
Cool.
Right, I built that. And it's real easy to build, but I realized you don't need that physical aspect of things. because you can physically do it. You can do it yourself through your brain patterns, your energy patterns, your energy.
Yeah, but most people, they need that physical thing, because then they can say, okay, it's not me doing it, it's this
Exactly
doing
right.
it. Although
Exactly.
it is you doing it, but
Exactly
yeah,
right.
some people need that.
Exactly right. So I'm going to be here. We have a whole list of stuff I sent you that we talk about.
Yep.
Anybody out there wants me to talk about something specifically, I'm happy to go over that. I can talk about a lot of different things. You might just be surprised. So we're going to leave in about 30 seconds.
Okay, hold on, Andy. I'm getting told there's a question.
Oh no! Can we stay longer?
Go up. Yeah, we can stay longer if you're okay with
what's
it.
the question?
This one here?
I don't see any questions.
Can we get Andy's list of recommended microbe lists?
Oh, it's a long thing, man. You're kidding me, right? Well, look, I have in my book.
Tell Diggity to join your newsletter on your website, and you can get it. You'll put it on there. How's that sound?
In my book, I made a list. I made a basic foundation list. I left out a few things on purpose, but I made a list. So you can start there. And then just for this show, I'm more than happy to show you more and more of the microbes, microbial list where I buy stuff from. You would love it because all of them have been tested and proven by me. And there are
over 70 years worth of testing too.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new ones on the market now. Again, I would go to acresusa.com. Those good old boys, and when you get their newsletter, you're going to see stuff in the back. You go, holy crap, look at this. Oh my God, look at that. And they make them so. They make it for thousands of acres and big time. And they'll be happy to sell it to you because I'm not going to make, I don't have a big manufacturer. So I buy from all these different places. I go, oh yeah, yummy. Wonderful, give it to me. And you can tell it works because just recently when I went to a place, the lady had been hired an arborist. He was injecting for 10 years these pines.
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah. And they're starting to die. She said, these are dying. I don't know what's wrong. And I've only been there 3 months. The first month she called me up after I did the microbial thing. She called me up. You won't believe what's going on. They all changed colors.
Yeah.
Instantly. They went shoom. And then if I didn't, and she said, you need to come every 3 weeks because in the months it started to revert back because there's no, I said, okay, you need to actually buy some good soil, some good compost. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get her to buy. People have a hard time buying compost from where I tell them to. I tell them, call Layton up. There's 2 guys that make compost the way I want them to. Layton happens to be one of them. No, they go to the store and they buy junk. And I see these bags. I'm going, what is it? You told me to buy compost. No, I told you to call this guy up and buy his compost. Well, compost is compost. Why are you arguing with me? Right? You know? And I said, you want these to heal or not? Because I can do the short term. I can come for the rest of my life every 3 weeks. You pay me, and they'll survive. Mm-hmm. It's like intravenous feeding. If their stomach's not working, they're going to have problems. And she's finally getting to the, maybe it's a soil, right? Maybe it's a soil thing that we need to deal with here, right? Maybe it's a soil thing that we need to deal. All my customers are starting to go, maybe it's a soil thing here. And it's the gardeners. They go on and buy the junk. You buy this junk food for your plants, you're going to get problems. So this one guy bought this stuff, and I'm looking at it. I said, where does it say compost on this thing? Right? And you look at the back, it says fortified with urea and this. I'm going, what?
Yeah.
Right? So it's
education, Andy. That's why we're here, my friend, is to help educate the people. And guys, we are over the hour. Okay, so cool. we are going to cut it. We did answer Dignity's question.
I don't care. I'm done. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and the thing is, Andy, you can just keep yapping all day, man. We love to listen to you, but I have promised that I would keep the show to an hour, so we don't wear you out. Because you got to go to work at like 5 a.m, so I don't want to have you up too late.
You're not worrying me. I started this morning at 4 o'clock.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, we've got Andy. Do you have any classes or anything that you're putting out here shortly, other than your website?
I'm getting ready to do a online workshop. Yeah, that'll be coming up. An online workshop. It'll be a weekly online workshop. I haven't figured out the cost yet. Every Saturday we're gonna have an online workshop. I have everything covered.
Cool.
Thank you, Diggity. Have a good day. Same thing for you. Operation Annihilation. Holy cow. Oh my goodness.
And this is a fun
Thank you
podcast.
guys. Take care now. Bye.